Oh, hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be doing a debate on, is water wet? Emily and I are going to be saying that water isn't wet, and we have Grace who says water is wet, and we have Ellie who is on the fence.
Having a mental breakdown about this debate right now.
Going to have a crisis, basically. So this is like one of the trending debates back in them days in 2019, and we've just reopened it again, and we're going to be talking about it. It is going to be very confusing, but hopefully you guys enjoy this. Let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and stay tuned for more videos. So hope you guys enjoy this. Well, I think water isn't wet, so does Emily, and that is because if you define wetness, it is the ability of a liquid to adhere to the surface of a solid. So what I mean by that is if we touch water, our finger is wet, because it's a surface, not the liquid itself. It causes the surface to become wet, but the liquid itself is not wet.
Yeah. So basically, like, it's when it comes into contact with something else. So like Tess said, that would be the finger. So basically, water is not wet. It is when someone touches it, or when it touches something else, that that object becomes wet. So for example, if I spilt water on you, how would you describe yourself?
Wet.
Thank you, Tess. Thank you. Wet.
Why? Because your top is wet. It's a surface. It is a material. It is wet is the adjective, and water is the noun. So you are wet because your top is a surface.
I don't like this conversation.
Okay, how about this next one? Is the sea wet?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's full of water, but it's only when you go into the water, or you send a little boat into the water, that you can go, oh, that boat is wet. And you can literally see it because it has water on it. Like windows, like in the morning, like when it's really cold, you see the water on it. The windows are wet. I don't know where I was going with that, but
no, I get you, and I agree.
Go for it, Grace. I don't know how people debate this.
My brain hurts, and we've been doing this for like 2 minutes. That's it. I can't even take time anymore. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so because like you just defined the word wet as a how do you say it? Adverb?
Adhere. Adhere to the surface.
Yeah. So we know that if something's wet, say like a water drop on a leaf, and if it evaporates into the surface, right? Like we know the water cycle, right? Just hear me out for a second, because I know Emily is just thinking.
Yeah, I am literally hearing geography coming back. Like,
so hold on. Say like if we get drops of water in a forest, like on the leaf, on branches, on trees, and they all evaporate, it's part of the water cycle. If we get like a glass of water and the water inside, that evaporates. It's not the surface around the glass, it's all the water in it. And because water is wet and it's a liquid, that is part of the evaporation.
I'm so confused. I'm sorry.
And how does that become wet? Like, why?
No, but it proves that like anything that is a liquid is, because anything wet evaporates. So like if you get a wet leaf and you put it in the sun, it becomes dry because all the water evaporates, right? Or the wetness, right?
Yes, but it's not wet. It is liquid. Liquid evaporates.
Yeah, but you Yeah, but if the leaf
Liquid
is,
and wet is like two different things. Liquid is
Mhm.
like
no,
a
no, but
state.
water is liquid.
Yes, water is liquid. Yes, but water is not wet.
No, but like I said, it's liquid. It's all the H2O in it.
Yeah, but there's a difference between liquid and wet.
Okay, tell me the difference.
Okay, liquid is a state. Is like you've seen those diagrams,
Yeah.
you know, with how it looks. So that's what a
Yeah.
liquid is. It's a state. So you got liquids, you got solids, and you got gases.
Hmm.
And then water, sorry, not water, sorry, wet. Wet is the feeling. It's a feeling, or it's something you can see. It's when something comes into contact with a liquid. So like Tess said before, like sticking your finger into a
So hold
bottle
on,
of
when
water.
when it comes in contact with a
When it
liquid.
comes into contact with a liquid, that is when it's wet. Because if your finger comes into contact with a solid, you are touching it, right?
And it's hard.
It's hard, yeah. But when
Yeah.
it comes in contact with a liquid, you stick your finger inside, or if you touch it, just touch it a little bit, your finger is wet because it's got bits of, it's not got bits, but it's got water or whatever the liquid is on the tip of your finger. I don't know even know how to
Yeah.
explain it. Like,
Yeah, it's basically like when, say, if it's raining and you didn't have an umbrella and your clothes are drenched, you say, I'm wet, not the rain is wet, because your clothes are wet because it's a surface. It's got contacted to your clothes.
Yeah, but okay, but say like I'm touching an object, say like I'm touching a cube of ice, like an ice cube, and I'm touching it, it's hard, and maybe I might feel a bit of like water on my finger, but that's the thing, it's part of it's part of what it is. It's solid, like you said. Now you said liquid is a state. I think that's what you said. So
yeah.
I was confused. I thought you were saying the United
Okay, right. So if we take, for example, a solid like ice, it will melt. So when it melts, we get water. And especially because our finger is so much more hotter than the ice. So as soon as we put our finger on it, it starts to melt. And our finger feels quite cold. And when we take our finger off, it feels wet because the water has melted and it is on our finger.
Yeah, but
Grace, if you grabbed a glass of water, pour it on yourself. Yeah, I really want you to do it like right now, but do it.
Do it right now.
no, but if you're wet, if you're all wet, then you're
You're
covered
wet,
with
you said it.
Yeah,
H2O.
you literally said it. You said it. You wet.
Yeah, you're
You're
covered
wet.
with H2O.
You're wet
Yeah,
because of the water.
yeah, but what is wet part of? It's part of like H2O, the little things on you, or
No,
the
but
little
no,
water
because
That's liquid.
H2O, and it
but
comes
you-
from
but you don't only get wet from water. You don't get wet just from water. You get wet from any liquid. Right? Even if
Right,
you
let's
put
take
some
a
Fanta on top,
breather.
you'd feel wet. That's not water, it's
If you
Fanta.
pour wine on me,
You'd feel wet.
but it's come from a H2O water type thing, liquid.
It comes from a liquid.
I said it comes from a liquid.
My
Ellie,
brain
help
is
me out
so
here.
confused right now.
Grace, I don't even know what dimension I'm in right now. Are we still on Earth? Are we still?
Oh. Right,
I-
let's take a
no.
breather right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Calm it.
Okay. Let's avoid the waters then. Okay, say like a piece of sloppy mud. If it goes on you, you're kind of getting a bit wet from the mud, right?
You said it yourself. Yeah.
Okay, now I would say the mud is a bit wet because it's quite liquidy, it's quite slimy, it's not very solid like, it's not keeping in place. That's the thing about liquid, it's not strong and tough like solid, it's more loose. and that's what is being wet, and that's what water is similar like.
Because mud is the mixture of like soil and water. The water is contacted with the soil, so the soil is wet. That's what makes a mud
My
mixture.
big fat Greek wedding, you know how the dad is always like, give me a word. Wait, you've seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, right?
Yeah.
But the dad's always like, give me a word, and he's like, oh yeah, that word comes from the Greek word. Kind of just reminds me of that. It at the end of the day, it always just goes back to that a liquid is not wet until it comes into contact with something else.
If you get wetness on an object, it evaporates. If you put a glass of water, it evaporates all the water in it. They're part of the same cycle. Because they're both H2O, they both evaporate. So water is wet as much as wet is water.
Yeah, but I agree. Water does evaporate, and that's due to, for example, it being really hot. But I don't get the link between what evaporation and wet.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
When it's evaporated, you've got no water. So I would say there is nothing there to be wet.
No, but what I'm saying is they're both the same thing.
No, but if you have a look in the dictionary, they're both two different things. Evaporation.
No, but they're both made of the same thing.
It's something else.
How? Water becomes from a liquid to a gas in the evaporation.
Yeah, because they're both the same thing, wetness and the water.
But wetness and liquid is not the same thing.
What?
It's not, they're two different things.
Wet and liquid.
No, okay, say like you put a wet ball on the side of a window, along with it a glass of water, and by the next morning, let me finish. Like the water goes down because most of the water has been evaporated, and you've got a wet ball that is more dry because most of the water from it has been evaporated, right? So they've all been evaporated because they're both water.
But you literally just said that the ball was wet. You said the ball was wet yourself. So you just literally made our point. You said the ball was wet. You put a wet ball next to a glass full of water, and you literally said the ball was wet. Yes, so the ball is wet. So we were right because it's wet.
No, but if a ball is wet, no, because wetness is water, because water evaporates, right? So wetness is water, as much as water is wet as well.
What?
I'm not seeing it. I really feel like I should be asking one of my lecturers. Is water wet? Grace says it's got to do with the evaporation.
It does.
I don't get it. I don't see it.
I don't get how the water cycle.
No,
Can I just ask? Why did you say the ball was wet?
Okay, because some kid put it in a puddle and it needs to be dry out. But
what is the puddle? What is the puddle? What is the puddle? What's in the puddle?
H2O.
Water.
Okay. Yeah. And then when the ball went into the water, what happened to the ball?
Okay, I know you're going.
It got wet.
Yeah, but listen. But what's on it is H2O. It's the water. So that comes from water, and it's wet because it's from a liquid object, which is wet itself. Because they're both from the same state, like you said, liquid H2O. Oh God.
I'm just trying to understand the correlation between water is wet and the water cycle and the evaporation and whatever.
What I'm saying is, okay, just remember the two examples. Water has been evaporated, right? From the two objects.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's been evaporated? The water.
Which has turned into gas, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before that, on the ball, because it's wet with water, shut up and listen.
All I get is. Sorry, go on, carry on.
That's all H2O, right?
Mhm.
Now, the glass of water is filled with H2O. So that has, most of the water has been evaporated as well. So anything that is water or H2O is evaporated. So the water from the glass and the water that has wet the ball comes from like the same thing, H2O. They're from the same family. So wetness is water and water is wet. Like I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. Right. So Grace, you said the scenario where the ball is wet. So after it's evaporated, what do you say the ball is now?
Dry.
So meaning not wet because there is no water. There is no water present.
Yeah.
So it is wet because it is the surface. The ball is in contact with the water. So the ball is wet because.
But it's wet because it comes from a object, not like a solid object, but like a liquid object full of like wetness, water.
What?
Oh. Ellie, you're gonna hold me out here.
I can't. I've never been so lost
Ellie
in
looks
my life.
stressed.
I know. I've had to distract myself with my phone because if I didn't, I would have had a breakdown. I've had enough stress with work and hearing you guys. I'm pretty sure at one point you were all arguing the same point, but for different sides. And I was like, I don't understand anymore. I thought I got a hold of it and then I didn't get a hold of it. And now all of a sudden
Ellie.
I'm thinking about the My Girl song that's playing from My Loud Neighbours at 5 past
Can I
midnight.
just ask one question, Ali? Just one question. No one answer. If I poured water on you, Ali, how would you describe yourself?
Offended.
One word. Word. Come on, you would.
Nope, I'm not getting involved. I can't do it. My
Get
brain,
involved.
it hurts.
Pardon?
Have you got any other points?
Okay, I've got a point. Okay, so let me show you, like, it's gonna be similar to the evaporation, but it might be simple. So here's my finger. It's wet.
She just lifted her finger. Yes.
Now, say like it's in the middle of a desert. This will be dry, and so in my mouth, because it's got all my saliva in it. Now what's on my finger comes from the same liquid from my mouth, right?
Yeah.
Now that's what I was trying to say in the water cycle. When you have a glass of water and a wet ball, all the wetness that comes off from the evaporation, and saying from Tess, just hold on, just listen, and everything from here will be dry. So what I'm saying is, what's on here comes from the same thing. They're both the same, right? Same liquid. Are you still with me? Are you still with me? I don't think you're with me.
Okay, I can understand. Yes, it's saliva.
Okay.
Your finger and the same
liquid. Same liquid.
Okay, same liquid. Yes.
Now, say like with that ball in the glass again, they're both the same liquid.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Now, because of the wetness on the ball is H2O.
Yes.
That is the same liquid from the glass of water, because that's filled with H2O, right? Now, because they're both the same thing, they like the same family, that would mean that they're both the same thing. Because they're all.
Are you trying to tell us that they're all water? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I think Grace is saying that liquid and wet is the same thing or something like that. And that's what I'm trying to. That's what I kind of got.
Sort of that, like when you say like water is wet, it is because it's all wet, like all the liquid, like all the chemicals in it, it's all wet because it's all in the same thing. Oh God.
I'm just looking at Emily's face.
I literally cried. It's so funny. Yeah, try to explain this. I can't.
I feel like heartbroken.
I don't know what that camel or the desert like story.
I don't know what that is either.
I'm sorry, guys. We're not laughing at you.
I'm just trying to understand. I was just
Who knew
thinking
water
like,
was so funny? Go team, not wet.
woo.
Oh my God.